I'm a bit of a mechanical keyboard nerd, but not the kind of person who would like modify or lube my keys or build a keyboard from the ground up. But I do have kind of a ridiculous collection of mechanical keyboards. Hello. So it was fun for me when TMKB reached out asking if I'd like to check out one of their keyboards. I said, yes, please. So this is the TMKB GK61, and this is a 60% mechanical keyboard. This is the first time I've ever used a 60% board, so that was another reason I was kind of excited to check it out. There's a lot of interesting compromises or workarounds that you have to do when using a keyboard of this size, but it's really not that bad if you just practice a little bit and you'll get used to it. TMKB did send this board to me, but they don't have any influence on this video. They're not going to get to see it before I publish it. All thoughts are my own. I do really like mechanical keyboards, but I'm not like an expert in them. It's kind of a layman's perspective, layman's review of this keyboard. But in this video, I'm going to give you my thoughts about the quality of this keyboard and all its features and functionality. You should be the kind of person who, like me, didn't know much about 60% keyboards. A 60% keyboard is if you took a full size and took out the function row and then took out everything to the right of the enter key on this side. There you've got the 60%. Here's a 10 keyless. So a 10 keyless is a full-size keyboard just without the numpad. Here's a 75% board. So this adds back in the function row and then has a column over here for that the right arrow key will fit into, and you've also got your home, your end, page up, page down, those kinds of keys. These kinds of keyboards are mostly targeted towards gamers, and I guess the reason for that is that being so small, you can bring your mouse and keyboard much closer together, so just kind of ergonomically more comfortable, especially in comparison to a full-size keyboard where your mouse hand is probably going to be off to the right somewhat. I think if you're kind of a minimalist and want kind of the smallest, most compact setup that you can get, or somebody who just doesn't have a lot of space, a keyboard like this could come in handy. Somebody who travels and wants a nice mechanical keyboard to take with them, 60% keyboard would be a great option as well. I've wanted to use this pretty extensively as my daily keyboard before making this review, so I've been using it as my daily keyboard. I've edited full video on it, I've done a lot of writing, note-taking, emailing, all the kind of typical stuff that I do, utilizing just this keyboard. Obviously there's compromises, not its usability, you can still do all the same stuff here, minus a numpad obviously. The arrow keys for instance, so you have to hit function or the FN key, and then like your left arrow key is going to be the alt key and the up arrow key is the question mark / key for instance. And it didn't really take me that long. So for a video editor, in order to move your playhead like one frame at a time, you can use the arrow keys. You know, I got used to it pretty quickly. Another one is the delete key. So the delete key is the FN + M. I was surprised to find how usable it is to do work and daily tasks with this keyboard. It's awesome for gaming for sure. It's definitely been really fun to use it as a gaming keyboard, but not the kind of person who would buy a whole separate keyboard and switch between it just for gaming and then doing daily tasks. You might be surprised to hear that since I have 3 keyboards on my desk, but. So that's the 60% keyboard experience. Now let me talk about this keyboard, its features, and its price point in particular. It's a pretty affordable keyboard, and you would expect that a 60% keyboard to be less money because it is 60% less keyboard. In practice, you'll find that these can get really expensive as well. This is only around $45-ish. Let's say that's kind of the average price that I've seen it for. With that, you're getting a whole lot of keyboard, and also, from my experience, the build quality seems to be really, really good. So this is a mechanical keyboard, but it does have Gatoron optical switches. This is the first time I've ever used optical switches. Those are legitimate mechanical switches. They just actuate in a different way than your more traditional mechanical switches. And furthermore, these are fully hot swappable, so you can pull out the entire switch and change those out too. Being optical, you're not going to have anywhere near as many choices for different types of switches as you would with a traditional mechanical keyboard. It's a fully wireless keyboard, so you can pair it to 3 devices over Bluetooth. It also comes with a 2.4 gigahertz dongle, so you can pair it to a device over that as well, or you can run it completely wired. I've been using it primarily in Bluetooth mode because I do switch between Mac and Windows PC frequently. That's been really awesome. It switches really fast and seamlessly, It's really good, compares really favorably to this Logitech keyboard, this MX Mechanical that I reviewed a little bit ago. You can also switch between macOS and Windows layouts. So that's a function and V. I think that's macOS, and function B for Windows. That'll switch your Alt key on a Windows computer. That'll be your Command key, and the Windows key on Windows obviously will be the Option key on Mac. These don't have macOS labels or typography on them, so it's all Windows, but you can obviously switch these keycaps out. So if you did want to use it on a Mac device primarily, you can just buy Mac keys. It's also a fully RGB keyboard. You have a lot of like great presets that are already built into this keyboard, so you can hit function and the backslash key to go between different lighting modes. And the function right bracket key will switch between the different lights, so you can have like a solid blue, or you can have full rainbow, all that kind of stuff. Function P will dim it, and function left bracket will make it brighter. There's a lot of different presets built into that. And there's also software that you can fully customize the lighting modes. And you can probably do some different macros and different key assignments. But I'm really into all that different customization. I don't like to install like a lot of extra software that I know I'm never really going to use. So I did not check out the software that you can download for this. It does come with the key puller, and it also comes with a switch puller. You get a couple of extra switches, and interestingly there's an extra brown switch, because I do have the brown version, and then there's also a red switch. So if you wanted to check out the red, you've got one here. So it's a lot of functionality for a really affordable keyboard. As for the build quality, also really impressive. It is all plastic, the housing is plastic, but the backplate I think is aluminum. So there's a lot of rigidity here. There's no flex to it. It feels really solid. Plastic is a thick ABS plastic. It doesn't feel cheap in any way. Another thing that really impressed me is that these looked like double shot PBT keycaps, but I wanted to verify, so I did email TMKB, and they said that they are double shot PBT keycaps. I do think older versions of this keyboard, before it became just the TMKB brand, maybe didn't have those. I think it was just straight up ABS plastic. They also have a nice texture on them too, so they're not real slick. I already mentioned the USB-C is up here on the top left, and on the bottom of the keyboard, you've got the on-off switch here. You have that space for the dongle, so that's kind of cool. You can always keep that there. And it does have some feet that you can flip out. There's only one adjustment to them. This keyboard has a decent amount of weight to it, and with those rubber grippies on there, it stays on the table pretty well. It's not going to slide around on you. There are two different colorways you can choose on this keyboard. I went with this black and kind of red wine keycaps. I thought that was kind of cool looking. There's also one that's white and blue. The back plate, however, on this black and red version is white. It doesn't really stand out too much unless you look at it head on. On the plus side, I think it does kind of reflect the RGB backlighting more than maybe a black backplate would. So overall it's kind of brighter and kind of has a more of a glow to it. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. I really enjoy this keyboard. It's a lot more usable than I thought it was going to be. The gate around optical switches probably aren't going to be to everyone's liking, but they are faster. So optical switches are technically faster than your traditional mechanicals. So if you are like a pro gamer, then you're probably looking at optical switches potentially if you're into mechanical keyboards, and they will also last longer. Mechanical switches are already rated to last a really long time, but these can last up to twice as long as a traditional mechanical switch. I love the Bluetooth functionality. I play games on this thing over Bluetooth. I'm old, so I don't necessarily notice like the huge difference in latency. It doesn't really seem like there is one to me. I'm sure there is, but it's just fine, you know? If you want to kind of kick back, play games in a more relaxed way, this would be perfect. But if you really do need like the best that you can get, you can just plug it in. I also can't overstate how comfortable it is to be able to position this keyboard right in front of you just for typing and everyday kinds of tasks. I think that's everything I have to say about the TMKB GK61. Let me know if you have any questions, if there was something I didn't cover clearly, or if you just want to drop a note and say hi. Really appreciate it. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and maybe I'll see you in another video.